Yeah, what a challenge. And it looked like he was rather focused. I don't think he really wanted to speak to Vicky at all, did he there? It's like, I've got the controls. Just get out of my face. I need to fly this. We all know what that feeling's like in an aircraft. Anyway, as Vicky makes her way back. On to the next item. Now, a lot of aircraft get planned, don't they? You see lots and lots of ideas appearing in magazines, lots of prototypes. It's a bit like with cars as well, is that half of them never get made, and it normally depends on how strong the company is that's trying to put it all together. So we wondered, instead of relying on the economy, which costs sore point at the moment, which aircraft would you like to see actively in the sky and really succeed? So we asked the FullFlap.tv team to put together a short list, and let's have a look at some of them now. What have we got first of all? Now the Aero. Has anyone ever seen this one before? The whole idea is it's a supersonic business jet. So we had Concorde, of course. Now that's nicely parked at Brooklands, but this whole idea is for $80 million. Has anyone got $80 million here? No? So the idea is to have a supersonic business jet flying at Mach 1.6. Now, if anyone knows about sonic booms, then you know that they're going to have to slow down when they're going over populated areas, or that's going to upset a lot of people. A range of about 4,000 miles, and they reckon it's got the same sort of fuel usage, fuel economy, as a Gulfstream G550, which flies a lot slower than that. The only catch with this is you notice it's a computer animation artistic impression, which means that there isn't really much to go on. So will it ever happen? I've no idea, but that's our first candidate. What's next?
Okay, now I am coming in with the LH-10 Ellipse. Personally, I think it looks a little dodgy, maybe even a little phallic, maybe why men like it. But it will do a top speed of 200 knots and has a range of 1,000 miles. However, this is still subject to test. The plane hasn't been certified, even though there have been a few rays of hope in the last few years. There is still nothing. However, Rick absolutely loves this and thinks it's a motorcycle of the skies.
Beautiful aircraft. You see the tandem seating. Oh, actually, there's a next one for you, but the tandem seating on that one. And I've seen one of those at an air show. It's got a beautiful leather trim inside, and it's kind of like getting into a Harley Davidson. Is there any chance of going back on that shot, Mr. Technical Man back there? Anyway, so it's got beautiful leather trim in the back. It's like a Harley Davidson of the skies. Like I say, as Vicky was saying, 200 knots they're claiming that they can actually achieve with this, subject to tests. But that's obviously pretty quick going. So you could theoretically pop down to Barcelona from London for lunch. Next one then was the Cessna Skycatcher. Now, one of the new breed of light sport aircraft out there. It's a two-seater aircraft designed to be cheap to run, fuel efficient. But look at that price there, $111,000 to get this aircraft. And it's going to do just like every other LSA, about 112 knots, 470 nautical miles. And I'm sure with Cessna, it'll do everything it says on the tin without any problems. But here's my problem with this. There are some beautiful light sport aircraft out there. Why did Cessna come up with another ugly one? Why?
See,
Why is
like
it always a box trying to fly through the sky?
It's like the new Beetle. It's retro and it's chic and kitsch.
But are you going to get your partner to go in that? Would you go in that?
Yeah, I'd go in that.
Yeah, well, you like that one, don't you? What about other people? Do you like it? Bit of a mixed feeling in there. But look, it's ugly. It's just like the same old one. What do we got next?
Right, now, nobody can disagree that the Cirrus jet isn't beautiful. This is absolutely lovely. It will set you back a very cool $1.25 million US, and it will cruise at 300 knots and has a range of 1,000 miles. I like this one. I think this is very, very close to being very good. Do we like it, audience? What do we reckon? Yes, we like this one.
It's like a sort of Lexus for the skies.
It is, a Lexus for the skies.
Luxury car.
I think we need to ask a few people what they think, because we've been very vocal in our views.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Me with the aesthetics, him with the actual how they work. So I'm going to jump into the audience and ask a couple of people. Sir, which do you like and why?
I like the Cirrus. Well, it looks like it'd be fun to fly.
Yeah, good choice, good choice.
And what about you, sir? What do you think? Which one do you like the look of?
I think the Cirrus.
Ooh, okay.
Cirrus is winning at the moment. So, what I would like you, lovely audience, to do is please, when we call out the name of the jet that you like, could you please raise your hands in the air? So, firstly, we are going to start with the plane that will never be made. Arian, who thinks that's the best one?
Oh, a few votes in there. A few people like that one.
Got a few.
Okay.
And then the lovely, sleek and stylish Cirrus jet. Who likes that one the best? Oh,
Yeah,
even kill.
Not too bad. that? What about the LH10? Beautiful. Yes, you see, a discerning gentleman over here likes the LH10. Well, and, well, the Skycatcher, but do we need to vote? There's one gentleman at the back. Congratulations to you, whatever. Right, so I think we need to find out which is the final winner. Who did you think it was?
Well, I think it was a bit of a toss-up, actually.
Between the Cirrus
and the Arian. But as the Arian doesn't exist and probably never will, the Cirrus jet's the winner.
Is that a commonly agreed thing? No, one man discerning. You're outvoted, sir. Vicky, I believe we have the news.
Right, yes, I am moving on with the news now. Now, normally I stand in front of a lovely blue screen, which means I can never wear my favourite colour blue, and I just talk into the camera. Today, it's going to be a little bit different, and I'm going to talk to these lovely people a bit more. Firstly, back before the holidays, I was telling people that an Air New Zealand Boeing 747-400 was going to take a test flight using biofuels. I think they're only using them in a couple of engines, but you can't really blame them for not putting them in all of them for a test. Anyway, the test seems to be a success. So, it was good, and so much so is it a success that now Continental Airlines are planning their first test trip in a Boeing 737-800, and they're going to be using a mixture of the Jatropha plant, pictured here, very nice plant, and algae. So we'll let you know how that goes. Japan Airlines. Now this is quite an interesting one for all the ladies in the room. It seems the women of Japan are a bit fed up that they're not getting as much chance to get into the commercial piloting scene as they would like. Now in Japan, ladies don't get a chance to do a lot. However, Japan Airlines does have 9 female co-pilots and another 10 that are training to be co-pilots, which is great for them. So I say, go girls. And as I said earlier, if you've seen Rick fly, you know why it's better to fly with women. Honda. Now, I think we all know that Honda hasn't done great in Formula One and sadly will not be fielding anyone in their Formula One team anymore. But they do not have any plans to stop with their aviation anytime soon. The firm tells us they are working very hard on the Honda jet and they are doing a lot of recruitment for research and development and production. And they also tell us that when they are running at full steam, they'll be producing about 100 jets a year. Now that is quite a lot. So if you do live near the facility in Greensboro, North Carolina, then you should definitely give them a call. This is a light aircraft, and this is a new van for the skies. It's the Expedition E350. The Canadian firm Found Aircraft Inc. have just got type certification from the FAA. That means they can now make it and sell it too. It's a 4-seater, so quite a big plane, and it will cruise at 156 knots at 8,000 feet. And it has huge rear doors on the back, which you can't see. So you can either carry 2 more people, or, as I would probably prefer, 800 cans of beer. It's up to you, really. Choice is yours. It'll do clear weather flying in VFR and on instruments, and you can get a version with floats too. It seems to be in a similar class to the 172, but it's smaller and an awful lot faster. But this is our final story. Some of you may recognise the picture. It's the Virgin Galactic. They took their latest aircraft for a spin in South Carolina. Somehow, not quite sure how, the White Knight 2 managed to stay in the air for an hour, despite the pilots having to cope with this rather weird design. As you can see, it's powered by 4 Pratt & Whitney turbofans. The 2 pilots sit in 2 very different places, one on each wing, as you can perhaps see. We're wondering, who gets to land the runway centerline, or do you get kind of a half a runway each? We're very practical flyers here at FullFlap.tv. We will have more stories for you soon. Back to you, Rick.
Yeah, it does make you wonder, doesn't it, when you look at that. So it's like, well